How can you be scared of people who have got nothing? Wouldn't you be running?
This woman makes a very great point. Let me put this in perspective for you. A lot of people who are actually migrating to, like, let's say, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, the US, and all of these countries, to be honest, if you ask them personally, where would they rather live in? Socially, they would prefer to live in their countries in terms of the community they have, how they get to connect with people, the kind of connection they actually have with these people within these communities, the familiarity, the absence of loneliness, shall I say, the unlikelihood of depression, the low tendency to actually get depressed in the societies. So a lot of these people would actually choose to live in their home countries, to live in their own societies. But a lot of them have no option but to move because of the government in these particular countries, these economic states in these particular countries, the political crisis in these countries, the absence of security in these countries, the low level of certainty and security in these countries, the low levels of social and individual protection in the society. So they have to move because of these reasons. Usually they would not opt for this, but they feel the need to move just so they could actually have access to better life chances. This is Max Weber's concept, anyways. One of the reasons a lot of people are migrating, it's not because, oh, they are trying to get support from the government. No, they are not actually coming to get support from the government. They are actually coming in the hope that they could actually establish something for themselves. The support they get from the government most times is because when you come into a particular country, they don't immediately grant you asylum. So because they don't grant you asylum immediately, you can't actually access employment. You can't actually access the workforce. So for that period in time where you can actually access the workforce, you have to have a source of sustenance, a source of subsistence as well. So how do you claim subsistence? How exactly do you claim a source of sustenance without actually having these resources? That's why the government would actually have to supply them, provide them with this subsistence and means of sustenance. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, migrants are occupying accommodation, free accommodation, and stuff like that. No, they are not preferring. That's not their preference. They don't prefer to occupy this. They have no option but to occupy this because the government doesn't grant them asylum immediately. So those who actually say they don't actually do checks, they don't actually check, they don't actually. A lot of people are coming here and living here very undocumentedly. The government actually have to do a lot of screening for them to be granted asylum. If there's a major flaw in their story when they are actually being interviewed, whether or not they should be granted asylum or not, if there's a major flaw in their story, they will get deported immediately. They will get deported, or once their asylum is refused, ideally they should go back to their country. And sometimes they might even pay for their flights to go back to their country, or they're like, go back to wherever you came from. So a lot of people do actually get granted asylum. A lot of visas are rejected. A whole lot of people are turned away from these countries. So I understand that you should put the reason for this protest. Or just trust me, I understand your ire. There are many theories behind why you might actually have this need to protest and direct your frustration toward immigrants. But you need to put this in perspective. The reason a lot of people are going this route is because there's a higher chance of getting access to employment later on, and not because that's the free benefits. What I'm trying to say is the free benefits aren't the motivation for them coming to these countries. They would rather work. They would rather earn their living. They feel more pride from earning their own source of living rather than taking from the government. As a matter of fact, they are not actually proud to say that they are enjoying government benefits. They would rather earn their own money. They would rather, at least the immigrants, the should I say the in quote undocumented immigrants I've come across, they would rather access employment because most times they feel depressed when they actually have something going for themselves, when they actually feel in charge of their own source of income, in charge of their own lives. And this is what they were running from, the fact that they didn't feel that much in charge of their own lives or in charge of their own futures. And their futures seemed very uncertain. But they came to a place in the hope that they could have a more certain future, better life chances, access to better life chances, and access to a better life, which they hope to play a major role in creating for themselves. So please stop this whole thing of they are just coming to take government support, take government support. No, no, no. These people are hardworking. I promise you, they are 20 times they are 20 times more hardworking than you are. I promise you that. So, anyways, that's all I want to say for now.